Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a very big lineup of news to share with all of you today. Today's date is July 5th, 2025, and it's Saturday. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful weekend so far, and I hope you enjoyed your July 4th, your Independence Day last night. I actually went out with my family to a park and enjoyed the fireworks for the evening. It was absolutely beautiful. It wasn't too hot. It was actually kind of breezy. So I had a good time. And let me know how your 4th of July went down in the comment section. And I hope you enjoyed it. So let's get into the news here. We've got reports of massive explosions inside of Russia last night. Also, Ukraine being heavily attacked by drones. I think the Russians fired somewhere around 330 or so drones into Ukrainian territory last night, and Ukrainian air defense teams shot down a very good majority of those. I'll show you guys that information towards the end of this video. But last night we had an airfield that was reportedly being attacked inside of Russia, and we also have information of a defense plant and a chemical plant also reportedly being hit. So let's jump into this first report here on your screen. Ukrainian drones struck Borisoglebsk Airfield in Russia's Voronezh Oblast. Ukrainian drone strike targeted a warehouse in Russia that stored fighter jets, bombs, and other military assets, Ukraine's general staff has said. Images show fiery aftermath. So this is actually a map coming out from NASA firms, which are like fire maps that were indicating a massive fire here at the Borisoglebsk Airfield in Russia's Voronezh Oblast, just a little bit to the east of Ukraine. And yeah, massive fire here as we had some sort of warehouse that was struck by drones, possibly even had aircraft that was destroyed as well. And right now, a lot of these preliminary reports aren't giving too much information, but we know for sure there was a warehouse that was struck over there. I'll show you guys a picture here in just a little bit of a massive fire there at this airfield. Also, reports of the Progress plant in the city of Cheboksary, Chuvash Republic, producing antenna arrays for Shaheeds, Iskander-K missiles, and other equipment. This is the Progress plant that has been attacked before. It was probably just 3 to 4 weeks ago that we reported this. This same plant being attacked. Now it got attacked again earlier this morning. And then in the city of Nizhnekamsk in Republic of Tatarstan in Russia, which is right next door to the Chuvash Republic, one of the largest chemical plants in Russia and Europe was also reportedly hit and caught fire. So we've got information from that today as well. Numerous other things to get into. So let's go ahead and dive right into this. We're going to jump on over here to X with Drone Bomber. It says approximate flight routes of our UAVs. Red arrow indicates directions of loitering munitions and strike UAVs. All information regarding the routes is taken from Russia's sources. So here's a map from Drone Bomber just kind of showing the different directions these drones were heading into Russian territory last night. Allegedly, there was some drones heading down here, maybe towards Crimea or the Kerch Bridge. Didn't hear too many reports down there of what may have been hit. But for sure, here in the Voronezh Oblast, might be a little hard to see because it's kind of a small map. But where this giant chunk of drones is right here is the Voronezh Oblast. That's where the Borisoglebsk Airfield is located at that was reportedly attacked. You can see that was one of the major targets here as a lot of these drones were entering into the Voronezh Oblast. Then up here on the upper right side of your screen with this picture, we got the Chuvash Republic and the city of Cheboksary. It might be a little hard to see, but that's where this is located, where the Progress plant is at. This Progress plant is the one that's producing these antenna arrays for Shaheeds and Iskander missiles and other types of equipment. That was reportedly hit over here. And then right next door, we have the Republic of Tatarstan that's a little bit cut off on this map. But you can see Kazan right here. Kazan is where we have a lot of drone production facilities over there in that area, especially the Yelabuga plant, which is not too far away from Kazan. So lots of defense facilities that are located in these regions over here. And yeah, we're going to talk about all these different attacks. We had reports inside of Moscow explosions over there as well. We also had airports being shut down once again. So lots of different attacks happening inside of Russia last night. So let's move into our first report here from Military News UA. On July 5th, Ukrainian SOF units, together with other components of the defense forces, attacked the Borisoglebsk Airfield in the Voronezh region. General Staff of Ukraine reports the airfield is the base of Russian Su-34, Su-35S, and Su-30SM aircraft, a warehouse with guided aerial bombs, combat training aircraft, and probably other aircraft were destroyed. The results of the attack are being clarified. Okay, so again, not too much information just yet here, but we do have a picture that somebody took of the airfield and showing a massive fire over here. So very possible we had a warehouse that was destroyed. There could have been bombs and other equipment in there, military equipment that was knocked out here in this strike. And very possible that we had other aircraft being destroyed. And if that happens to be the case, I mean, June was one of the worst years last month for Russian aviation. I mean, they lost like well over 20 plus planes in all these strikes, sometimes even friendly fire incidents that Russia was getting entangled with is what happened there. So, yeah, massive fire here at Borisoglebsk Airfield. I'm going to follow this story some more, and if we get more information, I'll let you guys know what happened if we get more results of this strike. But as we can see here, massive fire at that airfield last night. Now, for more translated, Ukrainian drone unit struck a key Russian military-industrial site in Cheboksary overnight on July 5th, targeting the VNII Progress, which makes adaptive antenna arrays for Shaheeds, Iskander-Ks, and UMPK kits, the General Staff reports. So these UMPK kits, I believe these allow basically glide bombs to be turned into guided aerial bombs. Is kind of what these UMPK kits allow. Basically allows them to fly a lot further. So this is allegedly the Progress plant that was being struck here in the city of Cheboksary. And again, we just reported this like not even a month ago, I want to say, when we had direct strikes here on this Progress plant. It looks like it was not completely knocked out of production and they got it back online, and now Ukraine attacked it again. So this was a picture showing a major fire here at the Progress plant in the city of Cheboksary. Now, for more translated, Ukrainian drones attacked the VNIIR Progress Military Industrial Facility in Cheboksary overnight. The enterprise produces Kometa antennas designed to protect Russian aerial targets from electronic warfare. The regional governor confirmed the UAV strike. So you can see why Ukraine would be going after this plant and trying to knock this thing out, because these drones are a real menace inside of Ukraine. They cause massive damage, and Russia just really massively producing a lot of these right now. So they're trying to make it easier to shoot these things down. We also had a report that Zelensky's claiming that the U.S. is working with Ukraine right now to start the production of interceptor drones, so that will help them start bringing down a lot of these as well. So I'm going to show you guys a report here with this video of a strike here on the Progress plant. So 30 seconds, take a look at this.
Опа, ты сюда летит, сюда летит, сюда летит, сюда летит. Нихера себе. Охренеть.
All right, so I'm not sure how many times this facility was hit, but we've got at least this one video coming out today showing this Ukrainian Lyuty drone directly smashing into this Progress plant and starting a fire. And once the video starts to end over here, you can see massive fire here that broke out soon after. Even from far away, you can see it's clearly on fire. So definitely a major hit here to this Progress plant once again. And it looks like the Russians did not shut down this plant for very long, probably just temporarily after the last time it was hit. So that's why Ukraine's going after it again. Now from Ozen Intuit, a Ukrainian AN-196 Lyuty strike UAV flying over Saratov, Russia, appears to accidentally hit the mechanical room on an apartment high-rise building. Local targets near there include the refinery, aviation fuel storage depot, and Angles 2 airbase. Yeah, so Saratov apparently also saw some drones. This is a little bit close to like the Republic of Tatarstan, a little bit closer to Ukraine actually, probably about 700-800 kilometers or so from the border of Ukraine. We had a drone over here smashing into the top of one of these high-rise residential buildings. It looks like it was probably some sort of mistake. It looks like it was flying too low and accidentally crashed into the top side of this building. So take a look at this real quick.
Он прям над нами кружит.
Ой, блядь, господи, ого. Это новый дом, девочки. Ой, я глухая, вообще ужас какой-то.
Right, so it's not very often that we see Ukrainian drones crashing into residential buildings in Russia, so I'm assuming it was probably just flying a little bit too low, and the flight path it was taken, it happened to just smash into the top side of this building. But yeah, we do have the Angles 2 military airfield over here. There's a major oil depot that Ukraine has gone after before, and usually whenever there's drones entering into the Saratov region, that's usually what they're targeting. So we could have had the Angles airfield under attack over there. That's a major airfield that houses strategic bombers for Russia's military. So could have had attacks over here as well. So just wanted to report that to let you guys know that the area of the Angles Air Base was under attack in Saratov. Now from Visioner, big news. As a result of the Ukrainian drone strike, a major fire broke out at the Nizhnekamsk Neftekim, if I'm saying that right, in the Republic of Tatarstan, one of the largest chemical plants in Russia and Europe, located in Nizhnekamsk. The facility is leading producer of synthetic rubber and plastics. The drone attack caused multiple explosions and ignited fires across several strategic sections of the plant, dealing significant damage to Russia's chemical industry infrastructure. This strike underscores Ukraine's growing capability to hit deep strategic targets within Russian territory, posing a serious challenge to Moscow's perception of rear area security and industrial stability. So yeah, this is this chemical plant that was reportedly being attacked as well. We got a major fire here in this photo. I've got a video I can show you guys as well. Let's jump into that. And not too much sound in this video. You can hear some birds in the background or something like that, but we can see a massive fire here at this facility and is burning. So this is another chemical plant that has been attacked. I think it was it just yesterday or the day before I reported to you guys we had another chemical plant that was being attacked. I mean, just so many defense facilities and chemical plants recently being attacked by Ukraine that I can't even keep track anymore. But yet again, here's another one, and we got a couple pictures here also we can show you here of this fire that broke out at this chemical plant. And this information actually just came out just prior to me recording for you guys, and I think this attack was recorded just earlier today or this morning inside of Russia. So I'll wait for more information on this chemical plant. If we get more details on that strike, I'll let you guys know later. Now from Slava, what happened? Russia's stranded at airports again due to drones. More than 20 flights delayed at Sheremetyevo. And flights to St. Petersburg canceled altogether. About 50 flights delayed to Pulkovo, more than 20 canceled. Some passengers have been waiting for more than 10 hours. So this was a picture coming out from some of the airports in Moscow again. Yeah, some people waiting more than 10 hours to get on their flights. Just flights shut down once again due to all these Ukrainian drones flying into Russian territory. And, if Ukraine really keeps this up, they could collapse Russia's aviation industry, and a lot of people clearly cannot go anywhere. So you can see the airport's just packed, people standing around, can't get on their flights due to all these flights being grounded. So pretty crazy news there. Now from War Translated, a Russian mill blogger says the entire command of the 155th Brigade was wiped out in the Kursk region after 4 Ukrainian HIMARS struck with precision. He's also complaining about poor EW, which is electronic warfare coverage, and the low quality of government-made drones. Okay, so he's complaining about a couple different things here, but one of the big pieces of news here is talking about this 155th Brigade that was wiped out in the Kursk region. Now, we've been reporting so many different command posts in the Kursk Oblast, especially in the city of Kornevo. There was a report just over the last week that Ukraine carried out a HIMARS attack over there, even drone attacks onto command posts up in the Kursk Oblast, and this is just over the border of the Sumy region where the Russians are trying to push into. And what we've also been reporting to you over the last week or two is that the Ukrainians are pushing the Russians back out of the Sumy region right now. They've gained at least 2 or 3 different settlements over there and are actively pushing the Russians back. So this could also be news that confirms that the Russians are running out of troops over there because their entire brigade was wiped out in a Ukrainian HIMARS attack. And he's also talking about, certain drones that are not very effective that Russia's military and government is producing right now. So take a look at this real quick. It does have subtitles. Give me speaking Russian.
Там же почему-то никто не говорит, что, блядь, руководство, блядь, все погибло, 155-й почему-то уже 4 хомяка прилетело четко в цель. Потому что у нас нету работы РР, блядь. А он дорогой, а его не покупают. Поэтому нам прихуячут эти дроны, блядь, Добрыня, залупу, это, которая не летает, переделать надо. Этот ебаный сибирячок уже сколько, говорю, сука, сам по себе летает 14 минут. Кого там ему поднять? Он сам себя не может улететь, свести, блядь, ебано. Вот такая вот, ребята, шляпа. Там же почему-то никто не говорит.
Okay, so you can see him saying here that entire command of the 155th Brigade was wiped out because of a HIMARS hit, so the target was dead on. Then he's also discussing how electronic warfare is not working, and that also many of their drones that they're producing inside of their nation are not very effective. Some of them can't even fly. So it looks like the Russians are having some issues right now, and this information really confirms what we've been seeing, that Ukraine is starting to push Russia back, and their offensive in the Sumy Oblast has stalled out. We've seen this so many times from the Russians. They'll attack, and then soon after, Ukraine is able to create a very fortified defense. The Russians are halted, and then they start getting pushed back. We've seen that numerous times over the last year, so that's just good information confirming Russia's assault onto the Sumy Oblast is failing. Now from Bliskovka, a convoy of Russian vehicles burned on the M4 highway near Yelets in Russia's Lipetsk region. According to eyewitnesses, a truck crashed into the military convoy, causing a fire. 7 vehicles were destroyed, an Akhmat vehicle, five UAV SUVs, and a cargo truck. So yeah, up in the Lipetsk region yesterday, actually, we had a report that there was some sort of military convoy that was traveling on a highway over here, and a truck happened to crash into them. And I'm not sure exactly how that happened. Was it some sort of accident? Or was this some sort of deliberate attempt to stop the convoy and destroy it? And maybe that truck was filled with explosives. I don't know all the details to this, really. There wasn't a whole lot of information coming out on this. This was actually released yesterday, a few hours after we put out our major Ukraine war update for you guys. So here's some more information here also as Max 25. More footage of burning Russian Defense Ministry equipment on the highway in Lipetsk. So this is like a family that was driving on the road, and we can see what it looks like. Potential Kamaz truck, which is like a transport truck for Russia's military. That's what it looks like to me. You guys can let me know what you think. There's another one right there, actually, that wasn't burned down. So yeah, not sure exactly how this happened, but if I get more information on that, I will update you at a later time. But yeah, allegedly some military equipment was destroyed over here, and it was due to a truck crashing into them. Now from Ukrainian Review. 11 people, 2 of whom are children, were injured in massive UAV strike on Chuiv. State Emergency Service reports. At another location, UAV hit a post office in an inoperative building. A fire broke out there as well. Houses and passenger vehicles were damaged. So these were pictures coming out from a city very close to Kharkiv, and I believe it's pronounced Chuiv. I might be saying that wrong. I'm sorry, guys, but that's the name of it right there. It's a smaller town just a little bit southeast of the major city of Kharkiv up in northeastern Ukraine. And allegedly we had some sort of drone attack over here. We had fires that broke out. You can see the firefighters here trying to put out the blaze as we had numerous buildings over here catching on fire. This appears to be one of the major attacks inside of Ukraine, because I wasn't hearing very much other information in terms of damage inside of Ukraine. So that's most likely due to a lot of these drones that were shot down by Ukraine's air defense. Now from Yerganana, it's missile threat in Ukraine. MiG-31K launch, high-speed missile. So this is a report that was just breaking just a little bit before I recorded for you guys earlier this morning. So this would have been in broad daylight today inside of Ukraine. There was some sort of hypersonic missile launch over here. This was a MiG-31K launching at least one hypersonic missile into Ukraine. So if I get information on where that missile was going, I'll do a separate update for you guys later today and give you those details. But yeah, allegedly there was some sort of missile attack on Ukraine in broad daylight today, which you typically don't see. It's usually at night. Now for Max 25, Sweden and Denmark have joined Germany in requiring insurance documents from tankers passing through their waters in the Baltic Sea in an effort to crack down on Russia's shadow fleet, according to foreign policy. Ships without proper insurance will be added to blacklists by the US and UK and the EU. Okay, so this is very big news, and very good to hear that we've got Sweden and Denmark jumping on board with this story that I reported to you guys yesterday, that Germany was going to start checking many of these oil tankers that pass through the Baltic Sea to make sure they've got proper insurance. And if they don't, they could possibly be detained. And, we know many of these vessels that Russia's using, a lot of them are not insured. They're not well taken care of. They're all rusted out like what you're seeing here. These things are very dangerous to the environment. A lot of them have been sinking. We just had one that blew up in the Mediterranean Sea just a few days ago, earlier this week also. So very good news. It looks like Sweden and Denmark are going to be jumping on board with this story of Germany requiring insurance documents from tankers that are passing through the Baltic Sea. So very good news. All right, now for military news UA. Washington has not abandoned support for Kyiv, but has canceled certain categories of aid. says the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. According to her, she discussed the situation with Trump and hopes for positive changes. Okay, so this is Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, right here. This was an older photo of her meeting with Trump at the Oval Office, and she was stating as of yesterday that the United States has not abandoned support for Ukraine, even though they've halted certain military supplies over to Ukraine, which I still don't know today why they have done that. I know a lot of people might say, well, it's because the U.S. stands with Russia. They're trying to hurt Ukraine and harm them and make it harder for them to defend themselves and whatnot. But we don't know the real reason why they've done that. We just been hearing that they have dwindling stock supplies. That's what the Pentagon was reporting. So she's stating that this is not an abandonment of Ukraine. That the supplies will most likely be supplied to Ukraine again here very soon. We just don't know how long that's going to be. So she was just kind of confirming that the U.S. still reportedly stands with Ukraine, even though there's a pause right now. All right, now from Max 25, Trump, Ukraine is going to need Patriots for defense. I don't want to see people killed. We might send them. We are looking at it. So this was Trump as of yesterday, and he was speaking to reporters, basically stating that he's planning to send Patriot air defense systems over to Ukraine, possibly even interceptors as well, I would assume. And I reported to you guys yesterday that the mainstream news publication Axios was reporting that Trump did pledge air defense systems over to Ukraine. So it looks like we have Trump coming out admitting here that he is going to be sending some sort of support in terms of air defense over to the Ukrainians. So that's very good news. We'll see if he does that. Right now, these are just statements. He hasn't actually agreed to anything yet. So we'll see what comes from that. Now from next, I don't know if I could find a way to end the war in Ukraine, says Trump. U.S. President Donald Trump publicly cast doubt on his previous campaign promise to end the war in 24 hours. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on Friday, he said, "I don't know. I can't tell you whether it's going to happen or not." This statement sharply contrasts with the confident rhetoric of his election campaign, where he repeatedly claimed he could quickly and easily stop Russia's invasion. Now the White House position appears far less certain. Okay, so look at this. Says Trump on if he can end the fighting in Ukraine. I don't know is what he said. The Trump spoke with both Putin and Zelensky earlier this week. So this changed very quickly, okay, within 6-7 months. Okay, Trump went from saying during his election campaign that he was going to end the war in 24 hours. Then it went to ending the war in the first 3 months, then 100 days. Then now it's going to, I don't know, maybe we can't end the war at all. Okay, so looks like Trump is less confident that he's going to be able to end this war, and that's not good news because that means this war is probably going to carry on. So what is Trump's plan going to be next? Are they just going to allow this war to go on forever? What's going to happen? Because the U.S. is going to have to continue to fund this war unless at some point they pull out and the EU picks up the heavy load here and all the backlifting for Ukraine to get them the supplies they need. So this is going to get very interesting to see what happens moving down the line. But Trump said he believes he may not be able to end it. You guys can let me know what you think. Now from United 24 Media, Zelensky, Ukraine will launch a joint drone production with an American company. There should be and will definitely be more protection of life. Okay, this is amazing news. This was actually just starting to be reported. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Zelensky was holding an address, a nightly address to the Ukrainian people, and he was saying that they were going to be working on the production of interceptor drones. So yeah, apparently Ukraine has launched joint production with an American company already right now, and they're starting to mass produce interceptor drones that can be very cheaply used to bring down a lot of the Shahed drones that attack Ukraine all the time. So this is very, very good news. Hopefully that will make a major impact and a lot of these drones will start getting shot down and no longer become a problem for the Ukrainians. We'll see what happens with that. Now for Max 25, the first batch of Patriot 6x6 armored personnel carriers has been delivered to Ukraine, according to the Ministry of Defense of Latvia. Now, a couple days ago, I reported this to you guys that Ukraine was going to be getting, I think it's somewhere around 40 of these or something. I could be wrong on that number. It was for sure several dozen. And it looks like the first batch of these Patriot 6x6 armored personnel carriers has been delivered, according to the Ministry of Defense of Latvia. So very good news. Ukraine's going to be able to start utilizing these on the battlefield. These look absolutely sick, in my opinion. Very cool to look at. Now for Max 25, due to the sanctions imposed, 50 million tons of coal have already accumulated in warehouses in Russian ports, according to the Moscow Times. All right, this is a very bad report for Russia. Their coal industry has already been collapsing for months now. And on top of that, Apparently, due to sanctions, 50 million tons of coal is just sitting in warehouses, and they can't even transport this due to lots of sanctions. So Russia's coal industry definitely in the bottom of the bucket right now and not doing well. And we've been seeing just numerous reports regarding Russia's economy. They are not in good shape right now. They are under massive stress with all these sanctions, and I think it's doing much more damage than the Russians actually admit to. And it's becoming such a problem that recently, even top heads of like their central bank, their economic minister, they're actually starting to say things like Russia's going into recession, we're running out of funds. They're stating a lot of things that are showing that Russia's economy is struggling. And if they're having to admit that, that shows how bad things really are. Okay, so sanctions are doing some major damage to the Russian economy. Now for Max 25 in Sweden, near the city of Västerås, a Russian Orthodox church located just 300 meters from the strategically important airport is suspected of spying for Russia, according to France 24. Excuse me. Here's the report. The church by the airport inside Russia suspected spy activities in Sweden. Yeah, so allegedly there's some sort of Orthodox church here that's run by the Russians 300 meters away from a major airport inside of Sweden. And they're stating that this Russian Orthodox church is suspected of spying on this airport, or possibly maybe even Sweden's military assets over there. So that's not good news. I haven't heard anything on what Sweden's going to be doing. Are they going to take action on this, or what's going to happen? But it looks like they might be launching some sort of investigation into that church over there. Maybe they'll shut it down. We'll see what happens. Now from Euromaidan Press, Ukraine presented new domestically produced laser targeting drone to guide precision strikes, according to Ukraine's Ministry of Defense. The R-34T drone can illuminate targets with laser beams to guide bombs and artillery shells to their marks, resist Russian electronic warfare and radio-electronic countermeasures, operate effectively at long distances, keeping human operators in safety, reduce munitions consumption by enabling accurate guided strikes. So this is a very good drone that has been produced by Ukraine's military. Now, if you look at it, it looks very similar to like the Baba Yaga drones, and usually these larger sized drones will carry like some sort of bomb or grenade, and they'll use these and drop them inside of trenches and destroy air defense systems inside of occupied territories, sometimes inside of Russia as well, like in the Kursk region. But yeah, apparently this thing can use laser beams to guide bombs and artillery shells. So this will help them maximize their effectiveness of strikes onto Russian equipment. And also it's resistant to electronic warfares and radio-electronic countermeasures. So that's very good news as well. So yet again, another report of Ukraine coming out with very sophisticated drones that they've been producing recently. They've got so many different types. So very good news there. Now for military news UA, the American company Blackrock has abandoned a large fund for the reconstruction of Ukraine and is no longer looking for investors, according to Bloomberg. The reason was an uncertainty about the future of Ukraine, especially after Trump's return to power. All right, so this is a very big report and very interesting at the same time that Blackrock, one of the largest companies in the world and very powerful companies, you guys have probably heard of them before. So they abandoned a large fund for the reconstruction of Ukraine. So looks like maybe they're concerned that, they don't know how Ukraine is going to look in the future. Maybe they're worried that their funds are going to be gone, or that maybe Ukraine might not require reconstruction if they lose the war against Russia. I mean, who knows what could really happen. I know a lot of people don't want Ukraine to lose. They want the U.S. and EU to back them to the fullest, arm them to the teeth, let them win this war. But right now, the way that things are looking in the United States with Trump being in power, he's not very supportive of the Ukrainians at all. I mean, I know he's saying he's going to give some air defense systems over to Ukraine, but what about offensive weapons to push the Russians back? What about other types of munitions like that? I mean, Ukraine needs all the help they can get. They're outmanned completely by the Russians, so this is not a good sign that BlackRock is thinking about, pulling this fund away for the reconstruction of Ukraine. That's a bad sign overall. Now for Max 25, the Kremlin is trying to involve Laos in aggression against Ukraine, according to the GUR. Currently, the Kremlin is organizing the involvement of a combined unit of engineering troops of Lao People's Army in demining the territories of the Kursk region. Lao leadership expresses its readiness to send up to 50 servicemen, sappers to Russian assist in demining the Kursk region. In addition, Laos provides free assistance to Russia by conducting rehabilitation activities for wounded Russian servicemen who participated in hostilities against Ukraine. Russia is trying to legalize the presence of a foreign military contingent on its territory, actually using it to support hostilities against Ukraine. Okay, so Ukraine's GUR reporting this today, that this could be a new country that starts to get involved inside the war against Ukraine on top of North Korea. Already deploying their troops. I just reported to you guys a couple days ago that North Korea could be deploying as many as 30,000 troops into Russia to help them fight against Ukraine. Then on top of this, now we've got yet another country that could be joining in this fight. And this is getting very scary. I mean, could this mean World War III at some point with all these nations getting involved? I mean, it's getting wildly out of control. The longer this war carries on, there's more people getting involved. So potentially Laos could be sending some troops over there that they're calling, at least right now, engineering troops for demining purposes. Could they eventually turn into active combat troops? Who really knows? But it looks like Russia could be reaching out to Laos for support. This is a southeastern country, in our Southeast Asia country, excuse me, over next to like Thailand and also Vietnam. Okay, crazy news there. Now for Max 25, Ukrainian air defense shot down 292 out of 322 Russian drones, including 157 shot down and 135 suppressed by electronic warfare. So 322 drones going into Ukraine last night. Look at that, 292 were actually taken down. I don't think we had any missiles going into Ukraine overnight, which is good news, but yet again, another massive attack with drones, and they were able to shoot down a good majority of these. And we know that the Ukrainians right now, they're already using interceptor drones. They've been able to take down more than a dozen over the last few days, and they're going to be massively increasing the production of that. On top of that, with the report today that they're going to be working with an American company to start mass producing these. So they should be getting a lot of these to the front line here very soon, and we should start seeing these numbers increasing in terms of how many they're shooting down versus how many enter into Ukraine. So very good to see that. They shot down a good majority last night. Now from the Kyiv Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of July 5th, according to the armed forces of Ukraine. In our final update of the day, Russia's losses as of July 5th, 1,050 troops, 7 AFVs, 149 vehicles and fuel tanks, 2 tanks, 56 artillery systems, 306 UAVs, and 3 cruise missiles. Okay, so seeing a little bit higher numbers on some of these. Artillery systems up a little bit. Vehicles and fuel tanks, one of the highest numbers we've seen in a while. We've been seeing usually about 75 to 100 or so on average, and definitely creeping up closer to 200 again. So it looks like the Russians were trying to launch some attacks with vehicles, and a lot of those being destroyed overnight, but AFVs and tanks still sitting very low. Troop numbers right around 1,000, which we've been seeing for a while. So yeah, guys, that's your daily update there regarding Russian losses in this war, and lots of big news today as we had this airfield being attacked and other defense plants, chemical plant as well. So we'll continue to follow all these stories. If I get any more updates on any of these attacks, I'll do a separate video for you guys later. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this update on today's date, July 5th, 2025 on Saturday. Let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.